B.
Welcome to Uxbridge Scugog Life. I'm your host, Jackie Hermans, and my co-host today, Mr. Chewy. So today we are actually going to be doing the show over Zoom. You know, the weather outside's a little frightful, and so we thought we might as well keep everyone safe. And I just want to say, I know all of you don't feel this way, but I am really grateful that we're finally getting some snow. And I know there's colder weather along with that, but the ski hills will be open. Well, they are open, but we're going to get some good snow for skiing. So on the show today, we're going to be talking to Dr. Wax of Lake Ridge Health. I'm having problems talking today. And we're going to be talking about those emergency room wait times. They have been pretty high. So we're going to be talking about when to go, when not to go, and we'll be talking about quantum touch. Make sure you keep on watching. We'll be back with more on Uxbridge Scugog Life.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
I still remember the games, the laughter, the footsteps through the hallway. I'll never forget the hard times.
Every day I come back from work, it's always like this. We're yelling in front of the kids.
The help we needed. How far we've come.
You're watching an interesting local show on Rogers TV and you want to know more. That's when you head to RogersTV.com. Our website provides more information about our programs, our hosts, our schedule, and about how you too can get involved with Rogers TV. Visit us online at RogersTV.com.
Welcome back to Uxbridge Scugog Life. So with me on the show is Dr. Wax, who is Chief of Staff for Lake Ridge Health, and we are talking about wait times. I understand, Dr. Wax, that the emergency centers have been quite packed. Can you give us a little bit of an update on that?
Absolutely. So emergency departments across the entire province of Ontario have really been challenged with high volumes and longer wait times than usual. And so we're not immune to that in Durham Region. All of our emergency department sites have been experiencing high volumes. And then there's multiple reasons for that, but it's certainly challenging for people coming to visit to get cared for in the emergency departments and for our teams as well.
So just even today, I was looking at the wait time tracker, and when I was looking at Oshawa, now it depends on when people are viewing this, so keep in mind you should check the wait time tracker yourself by visiting lakeridge.on.ca. But some of those wait times were above 5 hours. So are you getting cases that really they don't need to be going to emerge?
Right.
Yeah.
So a couple important points on this one. First of all, the wait time that you'll see is really an average, right? So it's really important that people understand that if you come in to an emergency department with acute emergencies that require immediate care, you get that immediate care. And so what our nurses do right up front when patients come in is they get triage, which means they look at how sick are they and who needs to be seen. So it's really important. We don't want wait times to discourage people who are really sick from coming into the emergency department and being seen. That's a very important point. If you are really sick and you are worried, you should come and you will be seen, and you'll be seen as quickly as possible and in the priority that makes sense based on how sick people are. So that's first comment. The second comment, though, is it's not necessarily that people don't need to be seen. I think it's a real challenge right now in Durham Region and throughout the system. People are coming to the emergency department sometimes with minor illnesses because they feel like they have nowhere else to go. And so if they don't have a family doctor, can't reach their family doctor or nurse practitioner, not aware of some of the other options that are available. And that's prompting sometimes people to go to the emergency department for things that could be managed elsewhere because they're not sure what else to do. And so I actually really encourage people to go on to our Lake Ridge Health website. And there's a part there called urgent care options. You can see that as sort of you come in the front page, and it'll give you different alternatives to come to the emergency department for minor illnesses. So the first thing I'd say is if you have a family physician or nurse practitioner, we always encourage people to go and see them. And there's good evidence that if you see your own doctor that knows you or your nurse practitioner that knows you, you're going to get the best care because they already know your history coming in and there's continuity of care. So whenever that's possible, that's really the best option. But there are other options that are available. So many urgent care centers across Durham region can see people with less severe illness. There's actually a virtual care option now. So people log on to virtualcareontario.ca. In our East region of Ontario, we have a virtual clinic. So people can actually do a virtual visit for minor illnesses and get some advice or even prescriptions sent in. And then we also have, you can call 811 or you log on to health811.ontario.ca and you get information about an urgent care center that's near you and even get advice 24/7. I'd also remind people that pharmacists can now actually prescribe medications for minor illnesses too. So in many cases, you can take advantage of that convenience, and the pharmacist can kind of advise you if it's within their scope, if they're comfortable, and under many circumstances for minor illnesses, they can actually help out with that as well. So there's a lot of different options, and so we encourage people to know about them, and we're going to try to spread the word, through our website and other means, so that people know that they do have options if they can't see their family doctor or other primary care provider. But
Beautiful.
again, if people are really sick though, if you've got chest pain, severe shortness of breath, you're fainting, other things, like we don't want to discourage people from coming to the emergency department to be seen.
Okay, and I do want to correct the website there. So the website is LH for lakeridgehealth.ca. Okay, thank you. Now, I understand there is a triple threat for the viruses that are out there. Could you go over those 3 viruses to look out for?
Absolutely. So every winter we run into trouble with infectious respiratory illness, right? And depending on the winter you get, it's a different virus. And so right now there's really 3 big viruses that we're worried about. We continue to have problems with COVID-19. Many people are not testing as frequently, and so they don't often know that the illness that they have is COVID, but there's definitely a lot of COVID out there. And we know that from looking at wastewater signals and other things that tell us, even if people aren't testing, there is a lot of COVID. So we encourage people to get their vaccine. And if you have appropriate indications, and you can see your pharmacist about this, there is a medication called Paxlovid. So if you have certain risk factors, pharmacists can actually prescribe Paxlovid without you ever having to see a doctor if you test yourself at home and you know you have COVID. So please get vaccinated with the updated vaccine, and do encourage people that you can test yourself. And if you're positive, there are options for treatment. Influenza continues to be a problem. Again, the best thing for influenza, again, is to get vaccinated. You need to get vaccinated every year because the strains change. And so we are seeing increasing risk of influenza in the community. So that's actually a big concern. And the last one that a lot of people don't necessarily know about is something called RSV. And RSV is a virus that is a common virus that affects kids in particular, but also adults, particularly older adults with underlying medical conditions. And that's the 3rd virus that's giving us trouble. The good news for RSV is there's just recently been a vaccine for older adults with certain indications who are higher risk to actually help them with that too. So, but those are the 3 viruses we're worrying about, and all 3 are circulating right now. And so certainly that is increasing our volumes of patients who are sick in general and patients who are needing to be seen by a doctor, including in the urgent care centers and our emergency departments.
Okay, thank you. Now, we don't have much time left, but would you be able to just quickly give the symptoms of RSV?
So it's very similar to the other types of respiratory viruses. So people can have fever, cough, shortness of breath. Sometimes people can have hoarse voice, vocal cord issues with that as well. And so it's really difficult to distinguish without testing sometimes what's influenza versus RSV versus COVID. So they all look very similar, and you can't really distinguish without testing.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Wax. So I guess the last thing, we need to promote how to stay healthy, right? So washing hands. We need to wash hands often.
Yeah, washing hands and, all the things that we were doing earlier in the pandemic still work, right? So if you're going to be in closed spaces with lots of other people, wearing masks, if you're at risk in non-ventilated spaces, that also works for all three of those viruses. Hand washing, mask wearing, all those sorts of things are useful for everything.
Right.
Even though, right.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Wax. It was wonderful to have you on the show.
Thank you very much, Jackie. Take care.
Okay, bye-bye. We'll be right back with more on Uxbridge Scugog Life.
This 175-year-old portrait found a home here in early 2015. It contains a man of great relevance to thousands of residents right here in Durham. Bowmanville, previously Darlington Mills, consisted of a handful of settlers and was transformed by the man in that photo, Mr. Charles Bowman. Bowman saw no boundaries within his 300-acre purchase. He, at the helm of commerce and development, also influenced immigration and settlement. For almost a century, local historians searched for this once faceless man.
We found it in the possession of a family in Ottawa.
Until now, for generations, Bowmanville had never seen an image of its namesake and founder.
Welcome back to Uxbridge Scugog Life. So I have Kathy Marshall on the phone, but on the line over Zoom, ready to go. And Kathy is an intuitive wellness coach and educator. So Kathy, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I was so excited to bring you onto the show to talk about quantum touch, which is a form of energy healing. I also want to talk about your background as an energy healer and how you got into it. So, but what I want to start with is, what is quantum touch?
Quantum touch. Well, it is the animating life energy or life force energy of everything in our world. And so quantum touch was created. It's very simple. Anyone can do it anywhere, anytime, any place. And we use breath, intention, and attention. And then we focus on love. And we can enhance, reduce stress. Breath is the key. When we have our breath, and we are focusing on the breath techniques, which there are only a few. I think there's 6 in total. And that increases our energy in our body. And then we can focus that energy on whatever it is we choose.
Okay, so quantum touch is a type of healing modality where you use the universal energy. And you can give it to animals, you can give it to people, you can give it to situations.
Yeah.
Well, now, when I took the quantum touch certifications, and that's actually where I met Kathy.
Yes.
What was amazing about it is that there's so much freedom around it. Because I also took my Reiki energy healing, and with that, there's all these structures and processes, and you need to go through the steps in a certain order, and even ask permission before you can send someone energy healing.
Mm-hmm.
Can you go into like a little bit more about, I guess, what you find so amazing and unique and just awesome about quantum touch healing?
So that's what I love. Richard Gordon, who created the program, and he's written several books, and this is an international program it is shared around the world. taught around the world. And the premise is that when you're sending from love, so it's when you're sending from a focus of love, you are offering that divine love, that intelligence to anyone, and they can choose to receive it or not. So it can be sent when it's coming from love. So when we're coming from a place of force, which is not quantum touch, there's no force involved. That can be where you need permission. Sometimes people say you can also ask for permission as well. But when you're sending from love, it's an offering. And so it can be received or not. And then you take your own desire for an outcome out of the equation. I hope that helps.
Yeah, definitely. Now, how did Richard Gordon create this process in the first place?
Well, he had written a book called Polarity. I think it's Polarity Balancing. And he went to a workshop with a friend, saw a natural healer. His name was Bob Rasmussen, doing things that he had just written about, and realized he needed to learn more. So he learned more from Bob Rasmussen, who was a natural healer. And so he asked him lots of questions and discovered that's how quantum touch became what it is he discovered all the things that Bob was doing innately without noticing or thinking about it, and put it into this program so that anybody can do it. We all have the ability in us as human beings to do this. So it's very simple with breathing and intention and attention and focus, love. That's it. You're there.
Now, when I took the quantum touch level 1 and level 2, I loved that there were people who had all different types of jobs, all different types of life circumstances, and different intentions as to why they were taking the courses. You know, some people were taking it just because they wanted to do it on themselves, and others because they wanted to do it on their kids or other family members, and others because they wanted to add it to their toolkit as a holistic practitioner. Mm-hmm. Why were you drawn to it?
I was drawn to it after my mom passed away. So it'll be 19 years ago this April. And I was kind of led there through a series of events, which is a little bit too long to explain. But I was led to quantum touch by meeting a friend who was also working in energy work. And she was teaching this course. So north of Kingston, that's where I am. She was in Perth, and I would go and participate in the classes with her. And that's how I got interested into it in the beginning. And it's fun. A class is so much fun. You learn how to do it by the first morning.
Kathy, you know what? I am so grateful because we have another segment that we're going to do, and we're going to continue this conversation because I also wanted to find out about some of the profound experiences that you've had while doing this really amazing energy work. So we'll be right back with more on Uxbridge Scugog Life.
Are you low on food? Struggling to pay the bills? Overwhelmed by life's challenges? When you need support but don't know where to turn, just dial 211. 211 connects you to the programs or services near you.
211, how can I help you?
211, help starts here.
Welcome back to Uxbridge Scugog Life. So I have Kathy Marshall, who is an intuitive wellness coach and educator. And today we're talking about quantum touch. Kathy is a quantum touch practitioner as well as an instructor. She is an incredible, Kathy, you're probably going to correct me here because I'm going to say she's an incredible healer. Yet I know what you're going to say is you are, let's say, a channel, you are a conduit to help others to heal themselves. Did I say that accurately for you?
Yeah, it's the whole premise of quantum touch is that we as a practitioner raise our vibration through the breathing and the techniques. Then we can allow change to occur in whoever we're working with. So it's the person's inner healer that's doing the work. They're allowing whatever change to happen. And that's what's so great about teaching the class is because you can teach, I prefer to teach someone how to do it themselves because I use it every day in my life. I wake up every morning and I'm using the techniques before I'm even stepping out of bed. For this interview, I was sending energy to it to make it flow and to assist me in saying what was best to be said, what people need to hear and to reach as many people as possible. For me, it reduced my stress incredibly. I left my teaching job because it was just too stressful. And this has really helped me. I didn't expect to go into it as an occupation. I was using it for my own benefit. And this is what's happened.
And you know what I think is so cool too? You have been such a blessing in my life on so many levels. And I have gone into, let's say, challenging conversations or going for a job interview. And you would send energy to it. And I'm like, thank you for the reminder that I can do that. First of all, you would send energy to it. And then it was effortless. Everything flowed so amazing. So something that I would love for you to share is what has been, since taking quantum touch or even taking the courses, what has been a profound, wow, I can't believe that's what quantum touch can do. Can you just at least one experience that you've had?
Yeah, I would probably say it was the first quantum touch class I took, which was about 10 years ago now. And it's what you do in the first morning, first afternoon. You learn to run energy into someone's hips to balance them. And to see that physical change is quite a process to experience. So that was the most shocking to me. And that's when I realized this could really do some amazing things, is because our brains, our minds need to see that physical change to understand what's happening. And I know that it happens all the time. Whatever I'm thinking happens.
I love that. I'm so grateful that you brought up. That's such a great example because I experienced that too. On that first day, we had to measure people's hips and see, and usually one side is a little bit more out of alignment. You run the energy, then all of a sudden they're aligned. And even, Kathy, where's the occipital bone? Do you want to describe what can happen there too?
Yeah, that can be done too in the level 1 class. When you take the level 2, you learn how to balance everything all together. Yeah. But the level 1 is you check the little bones at the bottom of your skull for whether they're balanced or not. And then you can run energy distantly. You can run energy into yourself. That's what we call it when we're doing all the techniques. We call it breathing and sweeping.
Beautiful. Okay. I want to make sure we have time. Okay. You teach the courses, you teach them online and in person, and you also do healing sessions for people either in person or online. How can people find out about when your courses are, like what's happening next for you?
You can find me on my website, which is quantumwellnesswithkathy.com. And I'm also on Instagram and on Facebook under that both those names or that name.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kathy. It was so great to have you on the show.
Thank you. I really loved it.
Yay, me too. We'll have to have you on again sometime. We'll be back with more on Uxbridge Scugog Life.
This is a man's heart, a heart in desperate need of medical attention. But because 78% of Indigenous people experience racism in healthcare, he may not get the help he needs. Become an ally. Rise above racism in healthcare.
I'm Deborah Hutchison, host of Talk Politics. Join us as we speak with your elected officials at the municipal, provincial, and federal levels about the issues that matter to you most. That's Talk Politics right here on Rogers TV.
Hey there, it's Taylor Bursey, back for another season of Modern Business right here on Rogers TV. I'll be talking to entrepreneurs and market makers under the age of 40 doing amazing things. Make sure to check it out right here on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to Uxbridge Scugog Life. All right, we want to stay healthy this season, right? So what are we going to do? We're going to wash our hands. We're going to wash them regularly. And you might even see some people out there wearing masks. And just to be warned, if you are going to be going into the hospital, hopefully you're not, you will be required to wear a mask again. That has recently started up. So let's stay healthy. And there are COVID tests available that you can take. I got some, I think it was at Walmart. They're giving them out in different places. So keep you safe, your other family safe, your coworkers safe by taking those tests. And if you're sick, stay home. And if you want any more information about Quantum Touch Healing, make sure you go to Kathy Marshall's website. I think that was Quantum Touch with Kathy. We're going to have that at the bottom of the screen there for you. So thank you so much for watching. Hey, if you want to be on the show, you can send us an email, uxbridgescugoglife@rci.rogers.com. And if you want to volunteer for Rogers, make sure you check out our website. You can find out more about that. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
Our ancestors came here from France to build a better life. We lived here happily for generations. Until the British decided they wanted our land. The men were called to a meeting and then imprisoned. They demanded we swear an oath to their king and took everything, regardless. We were forced from Acadie, the only home we knew. Mon Acadie n'existera plus.